Hi everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? Alright my friends, we're going to go over some charts today that are more than very telling. Now, for those of you that follow this blog, or for those of you, any of you, who have your eyes open and are awake to what's going on here, you have an inkling as to what is going on right under our noses, but I don't believe that many people understand what it all means in the grand scheme of things. And you hear a lot of people, including myself, talking about how to protect yourself from the debt bubble and what's going to happen from a financial standpoint. Now, for those of you out there that have my book, The Politics of Money, you understand that this actually transcends and goes way beyond the financial or debt problems engulfing the world right now. Let me just go over a few things before I talk about these charts here. We understand that recently, Bill Gross, the CEO of PIMCO, he's known as the Bond King, came out with a couple of articles talking about a credit supernova which is developing. And it's very profound to hear someone like that come out with such a statement. He understands that the debt is literally a bomb. As a matter of fact, in my book, The Politics of Money, I talk about how the debt problem is going to literally unleash horror on the world, worse than a nuclear exchange. And I don't want any of you out there to downplay this, because the charts I'm going to show you will outline for you exactly what I'm talking about if you don't have my book. And I just think it's so important to understand. So let's go over some of these charts here. We understand that we go from bubble to bubble to bubble regarding finance and economics, but the real bubble that has developed because of this is a human bubble, and that bubble is going to burst with the debt bubble, and we're going to talk about that as I go over these charts here. All right, this first chart, just so you guys can get a handle on what I'm talking about, is the stock market crash of 1929, the bubble pattern that developed before, and then how it crashed, and we all understand how that played out. Now, just have a look at this pattern. It's just so important. See that blue line there? You can see this curve leading up to the bubble which burst. Okay, we know how that played out, right? Very nice. This, most of you out there are probably old enough to remember this. This is the dot-com bubble, where people got literally wiped out on the wrong side of that. And this is what that looked like. Same pattern. Isn't that uncanny? As a matter of fact, let's put them side by side so you can see what that's the dot-com bubble. And that is the stock market crash of 1929. What do you think? Almost exact, huh? All right, let's look at this. This, the crash of 2008. Another clear bubble pattern as well. Bubble, bam, same thing. All of these bubbles, every one, understand, they have to burst. And I've been over this many, many times, why these bubbles burst. Because they rise above a level that can be sustained by any means at all. Now, we understand what's going on now. We have the Federal Reserve printing money like it's going out of style, because it is going out of style, cash. All the central banks are doing this. There's a currency war. They're trying to keep the debt bubble, the global debt bubble, suspended. It will not work. It just compounds the problem, and it is going to burst 100%. This is not speculation. It will burst. This is the 30-year bond. Okay, we can see a clear bubble pattern developing here. You can see the bubble. Okay, what do you think is going to happen here? Boom! And it's going to burst. That is going to destroy and wipe out not just the wealth of many, many people, but it's going to make resources become scarce. Something I've been over many, many times. And this is where this whole thing plays in together. When resources become not available, people are going to literally lose it. and you know, they're not going to be able to feed themselves or their family on a global level, and millions of people are going to die. Now let me go over some more charts with you. And this is a little behind the times here. This is a chart here of the sovereign debt here, the debt that you own. As a matter of fact, if you're an American citizen, this only goes to 15 trillion. We now understand we're over 16.5 trillion. Look at this bubble pattern. If you've never seen, this is epic, everyone. Let's focus on this. Let's give me a problem. Hold on a second here. All right. Look at this pattern here, guys. Right here, this is where we went off of a gold standard, and then you can see the irresponsibility. Once we left the gold standard, our money could be printed out of thin air, and you can see where this went. Okay, this is debt. This bubble is the biggest bubble that's ever been created in the history of the world, and this is going on a global level. So what's the problem, most people would say? What we have done, all right, is pull monies out of the future to live a better life now. And it's created an alternate and a distorted reality. It has allowed people literally to multiply like rabbits. Again, because they've been able to borrow and borrow against assets they own, houses, whatever, and subsequently live this lifestyle that they really shouldn't have been living. And this is going on a global level. And what has that created? That has created this: a population boom. And here's the bubble pattern developing. Now let me ask you, all of you that understand how this is going to play out. We've created this debt bubble. Subsequently, because of this bubble of debt, that's just the United States sovereign debt, but that can just, it demonstrates for you the global debt issue, which is engulfing the world. We all understand this. This is no joke and it's no secret. It's created this bubble. So when this bubble bursts, and it will, along with the bond market and the debt and everything else, what do you think is going to happen to the global population? Just like every other pattern, my friends, everyone, let's look at this. It will correct. So what does that tell you? Millions, if not hundreds of millions of people on a global level are going to die. It's that simple, and that is the reality of the situation. So people like myself, when we're out here trying to warn everyone of what is going to happen, you have to understand this is not just a financial thing. This is about human life on a global scale. When the debt bubble bursts, resources will not be available to these people, to many, many people, and they are going to starve to death. We are going to see disease spread around the world. Medical services will not be available to people. And you can understand how this is going to play out. And this is why it's so important for you and I to really try to get more people to understand this and how this works and how it will work. Humanity is in a bubble right now. Human life is in a bubble created by the debt. Now, our policymakers are well aware of this. And this is why they are in panic mode and why they are trying to keep the bubble suspended. Because when the bubble bursts, they understand that on a global scale, we are going to see rioting and wars, the likes of which cannot be imagined. As a matter of fact, again, I'm not a religious guy, but this is going to play out on a biblical scale. And that is the gravity of this entire situation, people. Understand, every bubble has to burst. And you are part of the human bubble right now. And you can kind of choose where you want to be at this particular time, although even the most well-prepared people will not be able to survive this because of the social unrest that we're already beginning to see here in the United States with more and more violence. What our policymakers will not tell you is this is the beginning of the collapse. The beginning of the collapse, the social unrest, the civil wars, which are going to develop into regional wars and global wars. There's a currency war going on right now. Here in the United States, police are being militarized. Drones are slated to patrol our skies. They are well aware of how this is going to play out, everyone. So the most devastating bubble of them all, which is right around the corner, is the human bubble. And it's going to burst with the debt bubble. And we're not far from that. So if you think this video has been important or informative, please give it a thumbs up and please share this with people. I'm urging all of you now to gain an understanding of what's going on here and how this has to play out, because this is all a bubble and the bubble is going to burst. I'll see you all tomorrow. You guys have a great day.